Welcome to the Beacon House Podcast, recorded live in Knoxville, Tennessee.
Man, Hunter, I don't know about that. I feel like everybody should have the right to vote, but, I guess to each his own.
Oh, man. I know. And all that stuff that you said about, like, not letting minorities vote, I think we passed that a long time ago. I don't know. Just kidding. And, like, pro-war, you've got some really progressive ideas, man. I don't know.
What was that about heritage? Hey, guys, welcome to another episode of the Beacon House Podcast.
Yo. What's up, everybody? I'm Spence.
I'm Casey. And as you've probably figured out by our funny beginning there, that Hunter's not here.
We're all alone.
We're
all by ourselves.
Which is perfect, because I believe that's one of the songs. No, that's not one of the songs on the TV show we're going to talk about today.
Oh, dude, jump right into it.
I literally sat down the last night and today and watched all 10 episodes of High Fidelity on Hulu because you told me to, and it's incredible.
Which I haven't even watched it yet. Yeah. I will say, man,
you've watched it, you just haven't finished it.
I'm about 7 episodes in. Okay. I just haven't had time to finish it yet. But yeah, it came out. How did I even find out about it? I think I was watching. I love watching Hot Ones where they eat the wings. Yeah. And they had Zoe Kravitz on there, and she was talking about her new show and blah blah blah. And I was like, man, it sounded really cool. Like, she's a record store owner that's having dating problems, and I was like, I'll give it a shot, man. And I pulled it up, and I think just like you and a whole bunch of people that I've told, just watched it and just could not click on the next episode.
Yeah.
And they kind of I think a lot of people binged it, but it's such a fantastic show. What do you think?
It's insane how basically it's kind of like a slice of life TV show where you're just watching people live their life and like going through the drama and the day to day, and there's nothing that really like insane happens. Like, you could talk about the whole show and not spoil anything. Like, I could tell you everything I saw in the last 3 episodes that you haven't seen yet, and then you could go back and watch them, and the magic would still be there. There'd be nothing taken away from it.
Yeah, it's not glitzy at all. It's extremely realistic, and it's extremely real, except for when she breaks the third wall and talks directly to the viewer, which I love.
Yes.
Because it's very clever.
Well, you watched the episode where Simon did it, right? Or maybe you're on that episode. Called The Ballad of the Lonesome Loser.
I don't know. I think I'm on 7. I haven't watched 7 yet. I think I'm up to episode 7.
Yeah.
But High Fidelity is fantastic. And what I told a lot of people at work, I go, who has Hulu? And some people, we do. And some people, I go, everybody has Hulu.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure if you have a cell phone or if you have Spotify or if you've I don't know, if you have a library card in the state of Indiana, anything, you get free Hulu.
Yeah.
I just feel like because there's so many ads, I feel like the subscription Hulu is kind of almost a myth.
Right.
I think if you will dig through your subscription services or whatever, something is qualifying you for free Hulu.
Yeah.
So figure it out. Watch High Fidelity. What do you have a favorite scene or an episode so far?
Honestly, I loved everything as a whole. It seemed like they wrote out this movie to make a remake of High Fidelity, and then realized they had way more to work with, and so they decided to make it a TV show.
Man.
So the first season, a lot of it seems like a movie.
Yeah.
That has more fluff to it, and it's not like bad fluff. It's meant to be there. It's like, I don't know, what would you call it? Like good fat on a steak.
Sure.
Yeah, you're eating a steak and you're like, oh, cut out the fat. And it's like, well, leave that fat. That's the good fat. That's not like gristly. But I guess the best way you could look at it is like your favorite characters. And I think Simon is probably one of my favorites. Like, I just enjoy that actor and the character he plays. I enjoy the interactions between Rob, who Zoe Kravitz's character's name is Rob, short for Robin. Her and Clyde's interactions are always phenomenal and like super awkward and very realistic. And I hate Mac. I absolutely hate that character. And I don't like the entire time you're watching that show and she shows up and finds her ex-boyfriend or ex-fiance Mac and they start talking again. And you see that like love connection being formed and like they're thinking about each other and stuff, even though he's moved on and found someone else. You're like, no, you cannot end up with Mac. You don't have to go for Clyde, but you cannot end up with Mac. Please, for the love of God, don't end up with Mac.
Yeah, man, it's got so many cool scenes and it's so music centric. That's a big one for me. Like, she talks all times about like, and I something I thought was really cool. They kind of resurrect the art of making the mixtape by creating the playlist now, so it's still there where you're picking out songs and she's trying to make basically a mixtape, but it's a playlist, like a Spotify playlist for the guy to try to like really let him know how she feels. And that totally hit a chord with me because we used to do that back in the day. And Butch Walker wrote a song about mixtapes and like basically sharing music you like with another person is a real personal thing.
Yeah.
And sometimes if you pick the right songs, they can say what you want to say better than you ever possibly could. And that's what she's doing. And she talks not just about what song she's going to pick, but the art. Like the first song has to get their attention. Second song has to let them know there's something big coming. Third song has to continue but change in some way. It has to have a dynamic. And she goes on and like, I think it's awesome. And they're always talking about music in the record store. And like, it's just really easy to watch for me. But my favorite scene so far is when, there's a part where she's just having all kinds of problems dating. She's had some terrible breakups. So she decides to go back to all her exes and find out like why they broke up with her. And in some cases she finds out that she's better off but I remember she goes and sees like some of them and they just tell her all this harsh stuff about her and she's sitting at a table. And I told my friend Rachel about this too. Not our buddy Rachel Reeds, but
Rachel Wood.
And she went and binged the whole thing and she was putting clips of it on like Instagram. And it was this scene where they're at the diner with her two friends, and she goes, God, you won't believe what she said about me. She said blah, 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 and blah, 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 and they're just quiet, and they start to go, well, that's not the word I would have used. Yeah, that's terrible. Oh, what an asshole, but you can tell that it's true, and their friends don't want to tell her, and she goes, yeah, I can't believe she said that stuff about me, but it's amazing,
Well, I mean, then you have Charisse, who is by far one of the best characters in the entire show, and she's just like constantly talking about how amazing she is at music, but has nothing to show.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so it's just like, they're always like, well, where's the album? She's like, listen, motherfucker, it's coming. Don't you worry.
Yeah.
But
this reminded me a lot of almost like a Kevin Smith movie. Like it's got real sharp,
very good
clever dialogue. And it's not for the faint of heart either. There's like a lot of hard language and like a lot of like extreme sexual content. There's drug use. I mean, there's just like, it's edgy, but it's so fucking good. And it's real emotional too. Like there's parts that you legit feel sad for her or happy. And it's just a great show, man. It's a slam dunk.
I'm definitely ready for season 2, which will probably be next year sometime.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, we'll have to wait an entire...
I know.
But
I'm going to throw another one out at you real quick. Kind of along those same lines. I was, this week I went to get a haircut from my buddy Holly, shout out. And I was telling her, we talk about shows and stuff, I was telling her about High Fidelity. Mm. And she goes, oh, that's really good. Let me do you one better. Check this one out there's a show on Prime, Amazon Prime Video, called Modern Love. And I go, oh, what's that? She goes, and you know what's weird? Before I say anything else, what's weird, both of these titles would not have grabbed me
no.
High Fidelity sounds real cookie cutter. Modern Love kind of sounds real, I'm like, oh, is that like another Love Actually? Or what? Look, it's just not something I would have gone out of my way to go home, make time, sit down and really try to watch. I'm just like, well, there's so many shows these days.
Yeah.
And some of them grab your attention with the title, like The Marvelous Miss Maisel, or you know what I mean? Like some of them you go, oh, Breaking Bad. A lot of people are like, what does that mean? And anyway, not that it shows judged on the strength of its title, but when you're sitting in front of these menus on like Netflix and they just go flying by, there has to be something that catches your eye unless a buddy recommends it to you. But so anyway, Prime Video, Modern Love. And I went in and what it is, let me set it up. It's a series of like different stories. So every episode's like a completely different, unrelated story.
Yeah.
And it's got an ensemble cast. So famous actors are acting these, so they're not in every episode. And the girl that's in the very first episode is the girl who was in the Black Mirror episode with the spaceship, which was kind of the Star Trek takeoff.
Okay. Yeah, the USS Callister.
Yes. It's the girl who was in that. And she's like trying to date and like find her guy, and she's friends with like the doorman at her building, and he's like this real harsh Russian dude, and he's always just like, he's not right for you. And she's like, come on, what do you know? And he's always somehow turns out to be right, and like, anyway. And then there's another one that came after it. Just these really sweet like little stories, and I've only seen a couple. I haven't gotten very far into it, but turns out the big like, I guess like the big shtick behind the show is all the episodes are based on essays that were written into the New York Times.
Oh, okay.
In like a Modern Love column or something like that. So they're true stories, or supposedly true stories,
wow.
that people sent in, and they've like, of course they're embellished a little bit,
Yeah.
but they've added some fiction, but they're based on all true stories that happened to real people that wrote in, and they're acted by like famous actors and stuff. And it's pretty good, man. It's stellar good.
I have another one for you in that case.
Give it.
Since we're on this like kind of niche TV show, HBO has a show called High Maintenance.
Okay.
And it's about a guy who's a pot dealer in a not legal area.
Right.
And in every episode, some episodes revolve around him, but most episodes revolve around other people. And he just shows up and gives them weed, like they call in for weed. And then it's about like what's happening to them.
Oh, I like that. I love that
And
a lot.
It's very much like High Fidelity. It's like in New York City.
Yeah.
It's very calm. Not a lot of crazy stuff happens, but it's a fun show. I think they're on the 4th season. Like it's been going for a minute. But I will say I pulled this up real quick because when I was watching High Fidelity, this guy popped up, and I knew this guy from somewhere, and I couldn't pinpoint it. And it was so the guy Liam, who's like the super young pop star that's like up and coming that she hooks up with. He's like the Irish or Scottish guy.
Yeah. From High Fidelity. Yeah.
From High Fidelity.
Episode 3 or 2 or something.
Yeah. Well, he shows back up at another point as well. I think
Okay.
it should be episode. You should have already seen it. Maybe not.
I'll have to go back
I want
and
to say
check.
it was like 6 or 7. But he kind of reminds me of Butch Walker. Like
Yeah.
he seems very much like. But in the mixing studio, the guy recording his stuff is Jack Antonoff, who was in the band called Fun. And I knew I recognized him from somewhere, and I couldn't pinpoint it. And have you ever heard of Fun?
No.
Okay. You've heard of their songs. I know you have.
They sound like a good time.
The lead singer is like, I think he's a phenomenal singer.
Okay.
But they're very not like overly popular band.
Right.
In fact, I think they were only a band from like 2008 to 2015.
Oh, wow.
So
Okay.
they're not a band anymore. But whenever he showed up in High Fidelity, I thought that was very interesting. I was like, oh, wow. Like, and they went to Jimi Hendrix recording studio, and I believe he actually does work there. So they just went to the studio and put him in the episode.
Holy shit.
So,
Wow, that's amazing.
and it's amazing that I knew that. Like, I was watching it, and I was like, I know what that is, and I know who that is, and I know who that is. I'm like, holy shit, I actually do know music.
Fucking yeah, dude. That's awesome. Yeah, dude, ton of good shows there. I'm trying to think if there's anything else lately that's not much else. Well, again, I haven't had time to watch a lot of stuff, but
Well, if I did finally watch Dr. Sleep.
oh, and I haven't seen it yet. But our brother from another podcast, mother Brandon Hudson, fucking our paramour, our dude. He said that it was was it when you and he and I were out or
Maybe.
Anyway, I was hanging out with him within the last 2 weeks, and he was talking about that, and he was selling it hard. I think
Now, let me ask you this: how did you like Kubrick's The Shining?
I loved it.
You loved it?
I loved it. I didn't care that it strayed from the original. I thought it was a work of art. I know he and Stephen King had like a big
Falling out.
falling out about it and blah, blah. And I also appreciate the source material too.
Yeah.
Like, I think it's a great story in its original form, but you can't shit on Kubrick's Shining. The original, like the cast alone in that movie, Jack Nicholson, Shelley Duvall, Scatman Crothers. I mean, just not to mention Kubrick's thumbprint on the whole thing. I think it's amazing. And it may be one of those cases where the movie actually was better than the book. But, you know.
I think you will love Dr. Sleep then.
Okay.
It's Mike Flanagan who did Hush and Haunting of Hill House. So you know the cinematography is on point.
I'm in.
And it just slayed. Like, it was really good. And I was over at my dad's eating dinner, and he brought it up. He goes,
Now,
I want to
do you
watch a
mean
new Stephen.
Haunting of Hill House, the series or the movie?
No, the series.
Okay. Which we all loved.
Yes. And they even go back in time and actually find this actress that looks like Shelley Duvall,
Okay.
and shows like what happened after the the Shining incident, and like when they move and they go away, and it's like Danny growing up. At one point, they bring in like a surprise, like they bring in an actor that's supposed to be Jack Nicholson from The Shining.
Yeah.
And you get to see that, and they do such a good job. So it's uncanny when you look at these actors and actresses and go, that's not Shelley Duvall, that's not Jack Nicholson. But for a second there, I definitely thought it was. And it's a great movie. It fucking slayed. I loved it.
That's awesome. And the premise of it is supposed to be that Ewan McGregor is one of the kids. He's the kid from
Ewan McGregor's Danny
from the first movie.
From the first movie.
Grown up.
Yes.
And
he now finds a girl that has the shine, and he basically becomes Scatman
Crothers.
Yeah, Crothers, who's the guy in The Shining with the Shining in the first one.
Yeah.
And he goes to like find her because he knows that she has the Shining, and he's like this alcoholic and this like drug abuser because he's trying to like suppress all these demons from the Shining, like the hotel, Overlook Hotel. And then it turns out that these witches find people with the shine and slowly murder them because when they're in pain, they release this gas, this like steam. I think they call it steam. And they like breathe it in, and it gives them life and immortality. Like it lets them live a lot longer than they should.
Jesus.
And so they start going across country, and like they've been doing it since the 80s. They've been going around all over the country just finding people with the shine, and then slowly murdering them. Because if they murder them too quick, the pain goes away, and they live off pain and fear. So they like really take their time.
Whoa.
And so
that's intense.
It's fucking great.
I feel like
I should have gone to the theaters to see it.
I feel like that book and everything didn't get enough of like it wasn't as big of a deal as it should have been. Just the fact that there was a sequel to The Shining, and I think people know, most people know that that was Dr. Sleep and blah blah blah. But like it just didn't. The Shining is one of the most legendary things of all time.
Well, they call Danny Dr. Sleep. They call him Dr. Sleep. I don't know if that's what it is in the book, but in the movie they call him Dr. Sleep because he starts working at this like old folks home or like an assisted living. And this cat keeps going into the rooms. And the first time he sees it, the cat goes in the room and like sits on the bed, and he goes to shoo the cat away. And the guy's like, "No, don't." And he's like, "I know it sounds weird, but this cat knows when people die, and it shows up to sit on your bed and be with you because it knows you're about to die."
Whoa!
And so he sits down and starts talking to this guy, and he's like, "I'm terrified of death. I'm terrified I'm going to die." And he's like going through this thing. He starts like kind of having this panic attack, and Danny uses his shine to get in the guy's head and go, "It's okay. Death isn't the end." And he goes, it's just like going to sleep. And the guy goes, "Thanks, Dr. Sleep." He goes, "I'm not a doctor." He goes, "You'd be surprised. I think you actually are." And so then he kind of like starts doing that all over the assistant living area, like showing up and like being with people and holding their hand and giving them calming thoughts whenever they're like dying of old age. Fuck. So they call him Dr. Sleep. Like I said, I haven't read the book. I don't know if it's the same in the book, but in the movie, it's really I mean, Mike Flanagan, I don't think for me has done anything terrible right now. Like dude, I can't think of anything.
I want to put that on. I definitely want to watch that like this week if I can. But that's really, really impressive. I kind of wish I would have seen that in theaters too. But By
the way, this is a picture of Shelley Duvall, and I think she was on Dr. Phil in like 2018. That's Shelley Duvall.
Holy shit! She looks like Annie Wilkes.
Yeah, she doesn't look.
She turned into Kathy Bates.
And I think, if I'm not
no
mistaken,
judgment. No, if you're a big Shelley Duvall fan, like no harshness. Just
I think that The Shining fucked her up, and she got into like drugs real heavily because of that. Well,
she did a very bizarre movie with Robin Williams, Popeye, the live action Popeye movie from the 80s. Which, as a kid, I watched it all the time just because it was on cable. And I was like, "No, Popeye's on," And I didn't really, it seemed a little weird, but I thought, well, that's just, whatever. But dude, it's really weird. The old Popeye movie from the 80s, she played Olive Oil and Robin Williams played Popeye. And
who played Otis? Like the big guy.
It had a Bluto, you mean?
Bluto.
Some guy, I'm not sure who it was, just some big guy.
Yeah.
But it was live action and it was weird. There was a lot of puppetry and just strange prosthetic makeup and just they had to make everybody's like forearm and calves look real big and like
oh god, it's so gross looking.
It's weird, dude. But Shelley Duvall was in that after she was in The Shining, and I think she had kind of a bizarre career. Now again, I don't know, and I apologize to anybody that's a big Shelley Duvall fan. Obviously, she was phenomenal in The Shining, and she's a great actress, and she's been in a bunch of things.
She's clearly gone through something to get to that where she is.
It looks like with the picture you just showed me. And again, sorry to sound judgy. She looks like she's seen some shit. Yeah. Also, I haven't really seen a picture of her in 30 years.
Yeah.
So that she looks to me just like Kathy Bates. Who whatever. But again, characters from Stephen King novels. Like fantastic stuff.
Yeah. So you got new eyes.
I got old eyes.
No, you got new eyes.
So yeah. I'll explain something that happened. So anyway, most people that know me or know that I wear glasses a lot, and pretty much all the time. I rarely wear contact lenses. I used to wear contacts all the time, and then I just kind of switched over because glasses are more comfortable. But sometimes you don't want. Sometimes it's nice to not have them on your face, you know. And so a couple years ago, I just felt like my prescription was changing a little bit. So what would happen is I put my glasses on or put contacts in, and I could see everything fine as long as it was more than about an arm's length away from me. But anything closer, like if I was sitting at the computer or typing on my phone or trying to read something like a book up close, it was real blurry. I couldn't get my eyes to focus on things that were close to me, you know? Yeah. And I would have to hold shit like way out to read it. Like if I was out and somebody sent me a text, I would have to hold my fucking phone at the end of my arm to make sense of the words, you know?
Right.
Which is almost reversed. You know what I mean? Like you feel like the further things get, you're not supposed to be able to see. And if I had my glasses off, that was the case. I saw way better close up and things would get blurry the further away they got. But it was the opposite when I had my glasses on. And so I kind of basically just quit wearing contacts because of that, because it was just a pain in the ass. You always had to you just couldn't see shit. You know what I mean? You couldn't see the instruments on your car. You could see what was coming up in the distance, but you couldn't see fucking how fast you were going or whatever. I was like, man, this is stupid. So anyway, and a lot of times these days, if I have to look at something up close, I just take my glasses off. So everybody that knows me has seen me like holding my glasses and like reading, or when I'm sitting close to somebody, I'll have my glasses off talking to them. I'll put them on when I get the walk off. Which is a mild annoyance. It's not bad, but I just thought that meant my prescription had changed. So I went to the eye doctor this week, and I was explaining it to him just like I just did here. And he goes, oh, well, that's a real common thing. He goes, are you over 40? And I go, yeah, I'm like a couple years over 40. And the guy goes, oh yeah, that starts happening to everybody at age 40. Some people, it takes longer for it to happen. And I go, is this what happens when like old people get bifocals? He goes, well, they don't call them bifocals anymore. They call them progressive lenses. And I go, but same thing. He goes, yeah, basically same thing. So he said, and I was like, you're fucking calling me old. He was older than me. So he goes, this is a very easy thing. This is very normal.
And he's like, let me write you a prescription, you old fart.
No, he told me the thing is called, the condition is called presbyopia. Okay.
Gesundheit.
And presbyopia. And what happens is somewhere in the eye, which is a very complicated organ, but somewhere in your eye, you have one particular lens. Mm-hmm. And that lens is, it's kind of like in a camera. It focuses rapidly as you move things away from you. And somewhere about that lens is good for about 40 years from birth. And then at that point, it fucking just wears out, or it gets real brittle and it stops being able to flex, or I don't know. I'm not a doctor. Read more. But basically when that happens, you have to have a different prescription or whatever. You've got to have something that magnifies up close and still extends far away.
Yeah.
And so anyway, he goes, well, blah, 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 blah. So I was like, oh shit, do you mean I'm gonna have to get new glasses? Like, he goes, so there's some options, but you can get these progressive lenses where when you look at the top, it's just like normal. And as you look down, it magnifies, like if you're reading a newspaper or something. So you just have to kind of learn how to look through the glasses. And a lot of people have them apparently, and they're real common, and it's not a big deal. To me, I was like, oh my God, it's a whole new world. So he gives me these contacts. I go, what about contacts? He goes, yeah, they make those too. So he gave me some samples of these contact lenses, and they're supposed to be for anybody that has presbyopia. And they're supposed to kind of help you see up close and far away at the same time. But right now, I'm kind of, so that's why I'm not wearing glasses today. Yeah. I wasn't wearing them yesterday either. Not sure how I feel about it yet. I see great, but I think
you should get new glasses.
I thought about it, but I
think you should get some progressive lenses.
Fuck, dude, I really like the ones I've got. I might just haven't put new lenses in the glasses I have, because I really like my current ones. But fucking, and also it's super expensive too. So it's kind of like, man, the guy at the vision shop, which is next door, he goes, look, man, I'll be honest with you, you don't have to spend money on this. Like, you can just keep taking your glasses off if you want to see something up close. And I go, yeah, but it might be kind of cool to just have like all that power at just like the tilt of a head.
Why don't you just get LASIK surgery?
That's still way too. I'm not prepared to spend the money on that yet.
Oh, okay.
I'm waiting for. It's getting cheaper and cheaper and cheaper, but that's not covered by my insurance. Blah 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 blah. Ideally it would be okay, but I'm not that troubled by my vision to go have LASIK yet. I actually like wearing glasses most of the time.
I still don't like the idea of LASIK because they like peel the film off your eye and like get in there and start digging around.
They saw your eye open and then close it. Like you go blind. I've talked to people that had it, and they say like there's a point where like your whole vision just turns into like static, like snow you would see on a TV screen. Shh, and you're legally blind at that point.
So you're awake while they're doing it?
My friend was.
They don't feel anything?
No, I think they do something where you don't feel it. and they just saw your eye open and then go inside and they start.
Fuck no. Fuck no.
This is people are gonna get so mad because this is an explanation from like 15 years ago. But apparently, what happens is the computer has already taken a map of the eye, and it knows all the places your eye is imperfect, which is why your vision is suffering, and it already knows how to burn the eye to fix all that. So the computer knows what to do, and all they have to do is just saw the top of the eye off, and they open it up like a can, like literally like a hinge, like it opens up like a trap door, and the fucking computer goes in there and just burns. And they said when the burning is occurring, you see flashes. You don't feel anything. Apparently, there's no pain involved. They just feel all these flashes. And then they close the eye back up. It seals, but you can't stitch an eye.
Yeah.
It goes back together. And you have to wear
You have to wear eye patches for 24 hours.
Yeah, you got to wear some shit over it so that you don't accidentally in sleep rub it and knock it open. Yeah. Imagine that. Imagine turning over to get a glass of water and knocking your eye open. Ding, ding, ding. Can you touch your eye?
No.
So you've never worn contacts or anything?
Nope. And see, here's the thing. When I went to get my glasses, my uncle was like, he put some drops in my eye, and he was like, it's gonna burn for a second, and then it'll quit. And I was like, oh, okay. Yep. And then he gets up to me with this like blue light and this bar that has like a circle on it, and he's like, gets real close to me, and I was like, ooh, man, that's close. And he's like, yeah, it's pretty close. He's like, all right. And he pulls it away, and I was like, oh, that was creepy. And he was like, what? And I was like, I just looked like I was going to touch my eye. And he goes, oh, it was. I was touching your eye with that thing. And I was like,
amazing.
What? And he was like, yeah, I just numbed it. You didn't feel anything. But yeah, I was 100% touching your eye with that.
That's awesome.
I was like,
I guess they numb it with drops.
Yeah. And I went, why didn't you tell me that? And he was like, why? So you'd freak out when it got close to you? No.
Yeah. It's totally. I know some people that go, oh, I tried wearing contacts one time, and no. It's not for me. Like I will say this. The first time anybody puts contacts in, you freak out.
Yeah.
Because you feel like something's sticking to the surface of your eye. And it is. But then you have to just learn that, oh, it's okay. It's all right. And you get to where your knee-jerk reaction to blink, you can get rid of that. Like, I can touch my eyeball right now without, like...
Nope. No.
And it seems normal. When you have to do that when you but at first, every time anything gets near your eye wants to close. So you have to kind of train yourself. But once you get it, it's real natural, and you don't have any problem. I just touched my eyeball for Casey, which is probably not sanitary. Like, I don't know what was on my finger. That could lead to an eye infection, like pink eye.
No, duty eye.
Have you ever had bad pink eye?
No, I've never had pink eye.
I've had pink eye a couple of times.
Knock on wood. Never had pink eye.
One time I had it so fucking bad, I literally had to miss like a work function. It was like a work dinner thing, and both of my eyes had so much goop. They were running, like I was tearing, and they had all this like crusty stuff.
It makes my eyes water just to hear you talk about it.
Like most of the time, if you get pink eye, and it's really easily fixed, you fix it with this. You
have to go to the doctor and get some drops for it.
Yeah, drops or this little gel that you put in the eyelid. It's easy to get rid of. And from what I understand, pink eye comes from like if you get like mucous membranes on your hand. Like if you've got a runny nose or you're sneezing, you rub your nose a lot, and then you rub your eye. That can get your eye infected. So it's real,
also shit. A lot of people get it from shit.
Like fecal matter.
Yeah, fecal matter.
Yeah, it's super easy to get. And so
a lot of parents get it from changing dirty diapers and then accidentally rubbing their eye without washing their hands first.
Yep. So yeah, don't do like I just did. Don't just touch your fucking eye without washing your hands. But
what movie was it where someone was it the 40-Year-Old Virgin where someone like farted on a bunch of pillows and everyone got pink eye? And
that was South Park.
No, there was a movie with it was like a Seth Rogen movie.
Really?
It might have been Knocked Up. I don't know. And it was like Jonah Hill, Jason Segel, and a couple other dudes. And they're like, one of the guys farted on all the pillows and everyone got pink eye.
I think that's hilarious.
And then the other guy, the one guy that did it, had like really red eyes. Like, oh, you got pink eye too? He goes, no, I'm just really stoned.
Amazing. Well, I remember there was in South Park when they had all these zombies, and they were saying that they instead of calling them zombies, they were like, "Hey, that guy's got pink eye. Somebody must have shit on his pillow or farted in his face." Like, so if you fart in somebody's face, it gives them pink eye. I don't know these things to be true, but anyway, you can get rid of pink eye pretty easily. But yeah, it's fucking bad. But I had it so bad one time I had to stay home. Like I looked like a freak. I've never had it that bad before. So
someone shit on your pillow.
I shit on my own pillow. Who knows? I don't know. Did I rub my underwear in my face or something? I don't know. And
that's why people they're like, you wash your hands too much. I was like, yeah, but I never had pink eye. So
yeah, 100%.
Never had dirty eyes.
Dirty eyes.
We're gonna call this episode "Dirty Eyes."
Yeah, dirty eyes.
I've never had shit eyes, so I think I'm all right.
Dirty Eyes. That sounds like a great name for like a trashy band from like not the late, but the early 80s. You know, bands that wore a lot of skinny ties and like red pants.
It sounds like a Hall & Oates Weird Al cover. Dirty Eyes.
Yeah. That's what I was thinking too. They wore a lot of like pastels. Dirty Eyes. They had pointy guitars and pointy sunglasses.
And they all had pink eye. All of them.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Now I feel like my eyes are itching because we're talking about it.
Yeah, you keep talking about it.
I want to rub my eye now, but it's a bad idea.
Well, so I got a new cat. I think we talked about this a couple weeks ago.
Oh my God, it's so cute. You're wrecking the internet with these pictures of
I
the
sent
cat.
you a couple new pictures.
I got the one from last night, and
Did you?
I was busy and I didn't have time to comment on it. But
Well, I took this one today because we were watching High Fidelity together.
Right.
I woke up at like 10 o'clock in the morning, and I'm just laying there watching High Fidelity, and I realized there's a paw on my shoulder. And she just like laid her paw on there.
yeah.
And I was like, oh, she wants to be pet. And I turned and looked. This bitch was asleep. She just, look how comfortable she looks.
He's showing me the cutest cat picture right now ever.
I'll share this after I.
And and it's just holding. It's got its paw on his shoulder and it's sleeping that way.
Yeah.
God, you're killing me.
And she just watches High Fidelity. She at one point there was a cat on the screen and she just like hopped up on the TV and was like looking. She's like, how do I get that cat?
Oh, she seems like she's really adjusting. These cats are so cute. I'm telling you, I've got some more.
And I'm pretty sure they're at least 50% Maine Coon.
They're furry. They're furry.
Well,
and
they
pretty.
have the M on their head, and apparently that is a universal sign for Maine Coon.
See, I heard you talking about that. I don't know about that, but yes.
I looked up a picture of Maine Coons.
Yeah.
Every single picture I found, they had this little fur pattern had an M on their forehead, and I was like, I never fucking knew that.
Well, I have seen the cat that I believe to be their father.
Okay.
Running around, and it's big. It's a big black and white cat, and it's super fucking furry. And it doesn't look like a traditional Maine Coon, but it's large and it's got long fur.
Yeah.
And the mom
She also has like a really big puffy neck,
Yes.
like chest, to make it look like a mane, and it's very.
I literally, your cat Tilly, her brother. I literally today before I came down here was clipping fur from around his neck where it was so thick it had gotten matted a little bit, and I was holding him like trimming him, you know.
Yeah. If you Google the picture Maine Coon, it's the first thing that pops up.
Just
It's a
look at
gray Maine Coon cat.
Look at Maine Coon cats, and then yeah, it's amazing.
Another thing apparently that's a big indicator is this right here. The ears, the tuft of fur coming out of the ear on the side.
This picture you just pulled up looks exactly like the cats that live outside.
But yeah, I've
Ran over.
I come home every day and I lay on the bed and pet the shit out of Tilly and smother her with love until she runs away from me. And then I go, okay, great. Now I'm gonna go play some video games. And I play video games, and then between games, I just look at her and she's on the bed, and I just stare at her and she stares at me and she's like, not again. I'm like, oh yeah, come here. I'm gonna love you again. I pick her up and shake her around.
Oh yeah. They're so cuddly and perfect and furry. They're amazing. So I'm glad you guys are getting on. Please continue sharing those pictures.
Yeah.
Because anytime.
I think I'm gonna make her own Instagram account.
Oh God, it would be incredible. So many people would follow it.
Yeah.
I would instantly follow it. Like so many people want to see it. They just want to see loads of pictures of her.
Yeah.
Because you can't get a bad picture of her. Casey's cat is so fucking cute. And it was that way when it lived like under my porch too. Anytime it would come out like in the daytime, you couldn't get a bad picture of her. She's so gorgeous.
She's called Tilly the Toy Destroyer. She's not destroyed any toys yet, but anytime I go to bed, I turn the lights off. And I'm like, all right, I'll be like, all right, Google, turn the lights off. I'll lay down. I'll like be ready to go to sleep. And then I hear jing, 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 jingling, jingling, jingling. And it's like this tiny little bell that's in this yarn balls that I have. And I go, okay, I'm like, all right, turn the lights back on. The lights come back on. And she's just like, she stopped and she has like two of them like stuck to her paws. And she's like, what? I'm like, are you playing right now? Like it's nighttime. It's time to go to bed. And she's like, fuck off.
Yeah. You can get them used to like going to bed when you go to bed. Like it takes a minute, but like I've got my inside cats trained to like I'll talk baby talk to them. I can't believe I'm admitting this on the podcast. I'll go bedtime. I'll be getting ready. I'll be brushing my fucking tail. I go, come on, bedtime, and fucking and I have big adult like 10-year-old monsters, and they'll all just come flying up in the bed. It's fucking awesome, and they just fucking lay down. They don't get in my way. They don't get in each other's way. But it's bedtime.
I am having a problem right now with her and cords. I keep having to get up and scold her for like having cords in her mouth.
She's chewing on cords and stuff.
She's not chewing on them, but she's like sniffing them and then licking them and like setting them in her mouth, but not biting down. And I'm just like, and then she's pawing at them and shit. And I'm like, quit. I'm like, I feel bad because I have to get up and scold her, and then she like crawls under the counter.
You might have to get something like you can get a little repellent to put on there that tastes bad to them. Usually it's like a lemon spray.
Well, I have the lavender spray. I'm gonna spray that like on a cloth and just wipe the cords down.
That sounds good.
Because she almost pulled the Google Home off the wall last night.
Oh, because it's got a cord going up to it.
Going up the wall, man. And she was just like sitting there sniffing at it. And I also have a blanket thumbtack to the wall. She keeps biting at the thumbtacks, and I'm like, God,
she's playing, dude.
I'm like, quit it.
Maybe
it's like a 2-year-old.
Maybe it's time for her to like explore the rest of the house. I mean, I know there's a dog out there somewhere, but maybe she needs more places.
Well, that's the thing is like I want to open the door and let her out and explore, but I'm afraid. I'm not even afraid of Bailey, the dog.
Yeah.
I'm afraid of Tilly, what she'll do to Bailey, like if she sees her to try to defend herself.
I think she'll run and hide. I mean, she's not going to scratch the dog unless the dog really comes up and tries to bite her.
Yeah.
Like if the dog gets too close to her, she might swat at it. But more often than not, she's probably just going to hide. But I don't know, man. It wouldn't be a bad idea to just open the door and go, all right, have at it, and see if she goes out there. Let her do it on her own. Who knows? But it's a great adventure.
Yeah.
I would be concerned. The only thing I'd be worried about is maybe she would hide somewhere and you wouldn't see where she went.
Yeah.
And then you wouldn't be able to get her. So I would definitely keep an eye on her or like follow her, or just be in the living room while she's wandering around,
Yeah. I'm behind the washer and dryer would be a hard place to get her out from.
I've had a cat go down behind the washer and dryer for some reason. And they weren't even running from anything. I just went in there to do laundry and I heard meow. And I was like, what the fuck? And this big cat is behind the fucking dryer. And I'm like, what are you doing down there? And I had to like move a bunch of shit and reach down there and pick her up. It was like I had to slide it out from the wall. But they get down there, they can't jump out because it's a weird angle and it's too tall,
Well, if I let her out, I'd leave my bedroom door open because that's her safe space she can run into. But I think I'm still going to wait a couple weeks just because like today I opened the window and someone pulled up in a car and shut a car door and she took off and hid underneath beside my bed and started meowing a bunch. Like she was like, oh, what was that? I don't like it. I don't like it.
Yeah.
So she's still skittish. I got to fix that. I got to make her.
She'll get again. You're what 2 weeks in from
2.5 weeks.
Yeah, dude. And
with a feral cat
for 6 months, she's been a feral outside cat. I mean, not completely feral because I've been picking her up, petting her, and feeding her.
Yeah.
But her environment's totally changing. Once she realizes that your house or you are her world, I think she'll
Yeah.
Guys, chime in if you've had any advice on cats and how to adjust a cat, or if you have your own cat stories. I promise you, we could not get enough cat stories.
Love cats.
There's always so loaded with personality and so much fun stuff. So
yeah, watch High Fidelity.
Definitely watch High Fidelity for sure.
Watch Dr. Sleep.
Watch Modern Love.
Watch High Maintenance.
Don't be high maintenance.
No.
Just watch High Maintenance.
Don't be a bitch.
Don't be a bitch. And on that note,
get your dirty eyes out of here, fucker.
Oh, my.